I'm just going to work with the silhouettes here. I'm going to lower her shoulders. Right? So this is, again, the law, the animation law of almost anticipation, right? So now as she's rising her head, it doesn't mean I'm going to put her head higher, right? The cone is going to go back because she's kind of straightening up her head a little bit, right? Her eye is going to go higher like that. Maybe I'll bring her eyebrow up a little bit, right? So all of the little notes that I want to take on board here, I'm just making very loosely, right? Just kind of like when we did that first pass with the loose thing, right? I'm not going to be looking so much at the model sheets now, right? If I find there's something that I really am struggling with that I don't understand about the model, maybe, right? Maybe. Right, so I'm gonna then move the earring this way. Now I want to also think, how would the earring dangle? It's such a subtle movement that I'm just gonna play it safe. I'm gonna keep it up there like that, right? So we're gonna come up before we go down, and that already adds something, right? Now I'm gonna straight ahead this, right? I'm gonna kind of straight ahead this thing here. I'm gonna go between here and here. And I'm going to now do what we call a breakdown, right? So because we're going to make this a slow movement, right, I'm going to come down quick into this, right? So I'm going to come down 2/3 of the way from here, right? 2/3 of the way from here, which again is the law of slowing in and slowing out and staging, right? And I maybe am going to put a bit of just a little bit of overlap in her hair. I'll indicate that there, right? And then I'm gonna have her chin, and I'm gonna be kind of in this pose already, right? Where I'm just gonna slightly move the face a little bit to this angle, right? And so her nose is there, her mouth will be here like this, right? Eyes will be here like this, right? Then we'll come up somewhat like that, right? So we then have this, right? So if I scrub that, I always get stuck on the keys when I animate. I manage to get some extremes and then I get lost. Because at the moment I'm kind of speeding through this, okay? This is a fun edutainment live stream, but it's about the fundamental law of arkings, mu2, right? You need to know your arcs, your anticipation, right, and your spacing. See, so now can you see how that first bit of timing is really good now, right? Just through that, right? Then I'm going to come up with a breakdown. So this is a breakdown between here and here. I'm going to put this 2/3 of the way again, right? Because I don't want to linger on the squash. What does that remind you of? I showed you about the basics archive in the Real Animated Training Library. The ball comes down, the ball goes, let's say it bounces a little bit less higher, right? So as it comes down, right, it's gonna gain momentum, so maybe 1/3 of the way here, right? That's kind of like what I did with this, which I called a favor, right? More than 1/3, right? Then we're going to go, then as it's gaining momentum, there's going to be a bigger gap between these two, right? So halfway between here, right? And then plonk, it's going to hit the ground, and we maybe have a little bit of slowing into the squash and stretch. But then we're gonna come up quick, right? As we come up, and then we'll slow into this a little bit more, right? There'll be some stretch here, not so much with this character, right? So this head is just a bouncing ball, right? So I have to really emphasize these things to you so that you understand the why when I say that I'm simply just watching myself animate. I'm not really animating. I don't believe I'm animating. I believe it is animating all by itself. I'm getting philosophical here, but It's because I've drilled. That's why I call what I do training and not learning, right? You learn through repetitive actions. Repetitive actions are what you do to build muscles, to build experience, to break down, to rebuild, right? So I've drilled these things over and over again, and that's what the library does. It gives you drills like reps over and over again in the 12 laws to get your subconscious, aware of how to do it, right? So I'm just coming 2/3 of the way up here, right? Because I'm using the light box, my chin is not arcing correctly, right? You see these problems that occur, right? But at the moment, I don't care about that too much because I'm just mapping. Remember what I said? You got to have a map. You got to have a plan, in order for this stuff to be successful. So now I'm just coming 2/3 of the way up here like this, right? 2/3 of the way up, and everything is going to kind of just be along those 2/3. So I'm just going to put that all in rough there like that, right? But then that rough is enough for me. Do X sheets drive you crazy? Well, X sheets really are they're good to know, they're good to understand, but they're really to be given to a cameraman to film your drawings for you, right? And if you're fiddling around with different layers and levels and all that, you're writing, see, all these charts and things are for the collaborative process. If you're working on your own, I'm not saying don't learn that stuff. It's very, very important. But if you're working on your own, you can put that stuff aside for a little while and I would say, learn the laws of animation first, right? So here, right, we've now got this. Can you see? You see how if we understand the slowing in and slowing out, anticipation and timing and arcing, we've now transitioned between the first little head turn, right? So now we want to do this again, right? So what we want to do here is something very subtle. The same thing, right? Everything about life is a rhythm. If you have drummings, I can't drum, but we want to hear it a couple of times. Then we'll change it. So we go back, right? So it's the same thing, right? Sorry to anybody who can drum. My apologies, right? But I think you understand what I was trying to do and say there. I've got my webcam on, not my mic. So the audio should be better now. I've switched to my other mic. But maybe it was good so you could hear the drumming. I don't think this mic would pick that up as easy. So what we've got is we've got a little anticipation and a move, right? So we're going to do that exactly the same thing again. A little